Welcome to the Brady Marcs Podcast with your host Brady from Brady Marcs Buyers Advisory. Enjoy discussions with a variety of guests and pioneers from diverse backgrounds, each sharing their unique perspectives on property, business, industry, and more.
Dom is one of those people who brings energy into every room and every property deal. A proud North Shore local who's lived in the area his whole life. Dom doesn't just know the streets, he understands what makes his community tick. Since starting in real estate back in 2011, he's built a reputation for going the extra mile, combining expert local knowledge and a genuine passion for helping people achieve their property goals. We're so excited to have Dom on the podcast to chat about what drives him, the lessons he's learned, and why the North Shore will always feel like home. Welcome, Dom. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. What an introduction. Incredible. Thank you.
So what drew you to real estate in the first place?
Great question. It's one which probably a lot of real estate agents have indicated, which is I sort of fell into it, to be honest. I was at school. I knew that I didn't want to go into any sort of tertiary education, but at that point in time, I was working at Domino's up in Pymble, flipping pizzas, working 16, 17 hours a day, and I thought that was going to be my career. So that was a bit of fun. But at the point that I was just about to finish up school, an agent in the area sold my grandparents' house for them, and he said, "Do you want to come and do some work?" Just with me kind of helping out behind the scenes. And so I jumped at the opportunity. I thought it's got to be better than flipping pizzas. And here we are 14 years later.
Wow. And that's the best way to start, when
Absolutely.
you have no expectations.
Correct. Absolutely.
I know you trained as a pilot. Was that something you considered as a career path?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was fortunate that I had the opportunity when I was in school to do some flying training. I wanted to be a commercial pilot, and I was so lucky that I had the opportunity to sink my teeth into that and sort of start to learn, get my pilot's license, go out and fly little planes, which is pretty cool. But I realised as I got towards the pointy end of sort of wrapping up school and kind of looking at what I needed to do next to, I guess, move into that space, I realised that it didn't afford a huge amount of flexibility in terms of lifestyle. And although you could argue now I don't have a huge amount of flexibility in my lifestyle as a real estate agent.
That's right.
I from my perspective, like I'm excited to start a family and go down that path of my life. And I felt that being away, 50, 70% of a week wasn't going to align with that. So I took a different direction.
So do you fly at the moment? Do you ever go on the weekends and take? Well, I guess you don't have time on the weekend, but no.
It's on my agenda to start again and just sort of ease back into. It's I think it's more of a hobby thing for me in the future. I'm lucky I've got about 100 hours sitting there in my logbook, so I can sort of refresh that and start again when I want to, which is cool.
That's good. So thinking back, do you remember your very first deal you did? What went right or what went completely wrong?
Good question. Probably the second one's even better. I'd have to think about it because there's a few different ones that come to mind in terms of the deals. But I think, as I progressed into operating as an agent within my own right, which happened around 2015, I had such a great foundation that I'd learned and I'd spent a lot of time sort of building, and I credit that to the people around me who helped, I guess, impart their knowledge and wisdom onto me. But at the end of the day, this is a people-based business. And so interacting with people, different situations, high emotion scenarios, you can be as prepared in your mind for that. But at the same time, until you're in that scenario dealing with people who are feeling possibly some of the biggest pressures they'll feel in their life, that's something that you can't really anticipate. So I guess on a challenge front, that's probably one of the hardest things is learning to navigate that side of the equation.
Yes. And it is all about relationships.
100%. Yeah.
So how would you describe your approach to real estate in 3 words?
Great question. My approach to real estate in 3 words, I think energy and client focused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
From my perspective, I've built an awesome team around me. We bring a huge degree of energy, output, different strengths to the process that we deliver to our clients as well. And I think everything we do with energy brings a bit of fun and an extra degree of output. but always focusing on the outcome that the client's looking to achieve and how we're going to get them there in a way that works for them.
And you have to have fun along the way.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it would be very difficult.
It sure would. There's not enough fun, I don't think, in it. But I think we bring so much focus and attention to everything we do. You've got to have a laugh every now and again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You talk about learning from different people along the way.
Yep.
You are an exceptional agent, and I have to say it's a credit to the effort that you've put in. Is there a person or an event or someone that has stood out that has shaped the way you are now as a real estate agent?
It's one of those things where I don't think there's one person, there's many people, because there's so many different people who've brought me knowledge, both around real estate and a process, around life, around headspace, around managing a team and leadership and all of those different things. And I think I have brought an approach to the way that I operate, which is very much that I'm a sponge, and I want to take in as much as I can. I have coaches who work with myself and our team now. It's a phenomenal opportunity within our business to work with some incredible leaders who bring enormous experience and different angles to approach all different situations. So I think there's so many different people who've brought me so much opportunity, which I'm incredibly thankful for.
And what you're saying makes so much sense. In fact, you talk about being the sponge. Our previous guest spoke about the sponge.
There you go.
And that was his advice
to
young people entering the arena. So
I think it's great advice. Yeah.
You've certainly got it right.
Oh, well, hopefully. But I think being able to learn, sponge, and always know that you're never 100% full of knowledge, and there's always something else that you can learn and use to take you to another level, to give people a better experience, to have a little bit more fun or a bit more balance, whatever it might be, is really, really important.
And that's what I love about the industry, because I always say I'm still learning.
Yes.
Every day we're learning something new.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry. And if you don't learn something new, you should get out.
Correct.
That's my advice.
Absolutely. You become stale.
That's it. So on game day,
Yes.
so I know that Saturdays are a big day for you. Every Saturday.
Yep.
What's your routine, or do you have a ritual or something to keep you focused and definitely on point?
So my day every day is I measure on the amount of energy that I bring to the table, not only for me or our clients, but also our team and our business. And so from my perspective, what controls my energy, and probably more so on a Saturday than ever, is doing some sort of exercise in the morning. I feel that on days where I have a rest day or I have a lie-in, I'm still full of beans, but at the same time, it's never at the same extent or to the same extent. So Saturdays, I get up, I go for a run early. I go and have breakfast with my team in a local cafe in Wahroonga. And so by the time we set foot in the door, which is usually somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning, we're pumped. We're aligned on what we're doing for the day, and we're ready to go out super focused into the market.
And I love the fact that you have breakfast with your team. That's
absolutely
great.
One of the things that I learned earlier on in my career was looking after people. And I was fortunate that I was looked after when I was moving my way through the business. And so it's really important to me now that it's not just a situation where my team comes to work 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And of course, that's the expectation. But also I give them so much that delivers them with knowledge, learnings, opportunity, but also experiences as well. So we do some fun stuff together. We go on team trips together because we genuinely enjoy spending time with each other.
Yeah, I love it. So, they say teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
What do you think makes a really good team?
I think what makes a really good team is different people and different skill sets all coming into a team environment where they're super focused on what they're there to achieve and applying that to the bigger picture to move the team forward.
Yeah.
So alignment on what the direction of the team, the experience, the process is, and not only on what the process is, but also what the outcome's likely to be. And if everyone's on the same page, then we work so efficiently, so hyper-focused, and ultimately our clients win.
Yeah. That's a really good tip for our listeners. So you sell approximately 120 properties per year.
Yep.
Very impressive.
Keeps us busy.
It certainly does. What keeps you motivated for the next one?
I think possibly a little bit of undiagnosed ADHD. I don't want to get diagnosed. But I think in all seriousness, I think I love the process. I love being busy, and I love the chase of putting a deal together. And so knowing that when you're working to close out a buyer or put a deal together pre-auction or negotiating on the auction floor under the hammer, that's my happy place. And so I think knowing that with the volume of activity that we do in the marketplace and knowing that the next deal typically is only just around the corner, provides me with the excitement that, hey, I'm about to get to kind of go into my happy space again and again and again, which for me is so exciting.
That's brilliant. So I love the Upper North Shore, and I know you do too.
I do.
So I should say the Upper North Shore of Sydney.
Yes.
What made you want to make your career and make a name for yourself on the Upper North Shore? I know you grew up here, you know the area very well, but you chose this area. What was it that appealed to you most?
I love this area. It feels like home to me, fundamentally. And I think to be able to work in an area, in an environment that I'm comfortable in is incredible. I can't ask for anything more than that. And the fact that we align with the people we do business with. We know the area so well. I've had so many opportunities where you could move out of the area, and so many of my friends have, and they've come back.
Yes.
And so I think from my perspective, like being able to operate not only in business but just in life in an area that I love and that I want to be in doesn't feel like work to me.
And you can be authentic as well because you know what's where, how it works.
Yes.
The people, the culture, the communities. So that's great for someone looking to sell their property. They feel that you know the area. You're not just anyone coming in to say, I'll sell your home and add on anything that isn't applicable.
Correct.
So I think that's good.
I think we can guide people in a direction that gives them really genuine, rounded advice because it's all I've ever lived and known for my 31 years.
Is there a misconception you think about the area that people say? Something that
I think the North Shore, the Upper North Shore, is coined the sleepy Upper North Shore. It's certainly quieter than other areas of Sydney. That's one of the things I love about it. But I think that's slowly changing over time. There's some great development in terms of open space and community areas and all of that sort of thing that's occurring up and down the North Shore train line. And I think that only improves on what's on offer for people of all different ages and stages in their life.
That's very true. It appeals to everyone.
Yeah.
So there's lots of buyers out there and you get to meet lots of buyers.
Yes.
What would your advice be to struggling buyers besides engaging with a buyer's agent or reaching out to a buyer's agent? What would you say to them that they should be doing? How can they get some help?
I think the key thing is, and of course, having someone in your corner, negotiating, putting a deal together is great. But before you even get to that point, educating yourself, understanding what are different markets, what are different areas, where do you see yourself living, what are you looking for in a property, what are prices doing in the area? Could you make a decision to buy something if you saw your dream home tomorrow? And so getting yourself as a buyer in a position where you're ready to transact is the best thing that you can do before you even think about going and looking at properties.
Yeah.
Because so often I hear it, I see it, it's happened again this week where a buyer walks through a property and they love it, but it's too early. They're not ready. They're not educated enough. They don't feel confident to make a decision. They miss out because they don't execute. And then in a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, they regret not having a better crack.
Yeah.
So if you hit the education piece early and you understand the market you're trying to buy into, you can make confident decisions when you find the right home.
That's right. Being prepared.
Absolutely.
So buyers agents are becoming more and more popular.
Yep.
I can say that at Brady Marcs, we've grown substantially from when we first began.
Yes.
What's the process like when you work with buyers agents?
Mixed bag is the easiest response. Mixed bag. I think just as on the selling side and sales agent side, you have all different types of operators, and it's exactly the same and it's applicable in the buyers agency space, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah.
There's people who understand their clients, their buyers really, really well. There's people who qualify their buyers really well, who when that buyer's agent is representing a specific buyer, that is someone who's ready to trade, versus people coming through who maybe don't have clients qualified yet, or are maybe sort of more in that initial phase of the process and not necessarily dealing with the same degree of quality. And I think that's really, really important, both in terms of getting deals together from a buyer's agent's perspective, but also reputationally in the market as well. You want to be known, just as I want to be known as the agent who is incredibly active and dominant in my space of the market. You'd want to be known as the buyer's agent who carries the best buyers in the market.
That's right. So the same way as you say to a buyer, go out and research the area, if a buyer's agent's coming into an area that they don't know, before they take on a client, they should understand the area.
Absolutely.
Look at previous sales.
Absolutely.
And have the experience before they can say they're the expert.
Correct. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And these days, it's not that hard to find information, but you've got to go and put the time in and actually go looking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Every property and every sales campaign is different.
Totally.
What is the craziest thing you've seen during a campaign or at an open home?
The thing that gets me probably at an open home, which is probably terrible to say, is when someone walks into a glass sliding door. I just can't deal with it. I have to walk out. It's terrible. And the face print on the glass door after the collisions occurred, that's probably it for me.
Have you ever had a situation where you needed to get medical attention for?
I had someone who thought they were maybe close to a broken nose, but I think they came good.
Okay, good. You're a very high-performing agent with a team of 5, is that right?
5 including me, yeah.
Okay, yep. How do you inspire your team and keep them motivated?
I think having tangible opportunities to learn, grow, and develop their skill set, and build into where they want to take their career as well. I'm so understanding of the fact that, particularly in the sales side of the business, but in any role within the business, I started folding envelopes or folding paper and putting it in envelopes, doing letterbox drops, and that wasn't where I saw my career long term. I saw it as a sales agent, and I was provided with the opportunity to grow into that. And so it's really important to me now, and I take it seriously, and it's a privilege now that I have the opportunity to help people grow into the roles that they want to be able to do as well. And so I think that alignment there, and us being on the same page around where everyone's going, and everyone goes in different directions depending on what they want to do, but being able to support that, I think helps with obviously driving the team forward.
Your team are very lucky to have you as their leader.
Thank you. I think I'm lucky to have them.
So for somebody who's looking to get into the industry, what would your advice be to them?
I think the first thing is you can't have expectations that something's going to happen overnight or in 6 months or in 12 months' time. You've got to do the hard yakka. I think the biggest thing that's changed these days is that one of the biggest blessings to our industry and probably the world is technology. But the other side to it is that it creates so many opportunities and excuses for people to not just do the things that get the job done. And so product knowledge, understanding how to put a deal together and negotiate, doing the hard yards to find opportunities, to close buyers, all of those things, you can't learn that off a computer.
No.
That comes being out, exposed to it in the market. And I think if you want to build a successful career in real estate, being able to establish yourself in an environment that allows you to be exposed to that is the first step to success.
Very true. Talking about technology and social media, has social media influenced your approach to selling property?
I think it plays a part, right? It certainly plays a part. It's not the dominant part of any sales campaign, but it's a contributor. I don't think in any sales process, there's never one thing that is the differentiator between why a big price happens and why it doesn't. There's a combination of so many detailed items. And so, yes, social media is part of that, but there's so many other things as well.
Yes. It's a combination of things.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you could change one thing in the real estate arena, what would that be?
That's a good question. I think for me, one thing that, and I think it is changing over time, is the perception of the industry. I think it's definitely, I believe, in my time gotten better. I think there's a lot of maybe operators who are no longer operating, who maybe didn't do things in their way that was maybe as transparent or as conducive to people wanting to do business with them. That's changing, so that helps. But I think ultimately the perception of our industry is something that I think still has room for improvement in.
Yes.
And I genuinely hope that the younger agents coming through this industry, not that it solely relies on them to take the reins, but the younger agents coming through are being trained in such a way that helps to continue driving that perception change.
Yeah. I mean, the barrier to entry is very low.
Low. I got in doing a 2-hour course.
Yeah.
And I wasn't good at school.
Yes. So I think what you've said makes a lot of sense. We've all experienced tough moments in the industry.
Yep.
Do you have a specific philosophy that keeps your mindset balanced when you're going through a difficult deal or a deal's fallen over?
Yep. I think the most important thing, and without getting too deep, but I think this probably applies to any situation in life, real estate, business, whatever, is that if you sit back and just take a bit of a helicopter view over a situation, are you confident you've done everything you can to get to an outcome? And if you can genuinely, without lying to yourself, say yes, then there's nothing more you can do other than get creative and try and think outside the box more. But by the same token, if you sit down and have a good hard look at yourself and there's a deal that's challenging and you look back and you go, maybe I could have worked that buyer a bit harder to get the deal. Maybe I could have tried that angle because that was what was going to drive towards an outcome, and you didn't do it, then ultimately you can't have that honest conversation with yourself and you need to go back and try harder.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there someone who inspires you in the real estate arena?
I think just like the number of people who helped me grow, there's so many people who inspire me. I think I look at, there's so many great agents out there who you take things away from, but I think I also get inspired about or with and by people outside of real estate as well. People who are focusing on headspace, life, balance, all those sort of things, great service. I get inspired by my partner and being able to grow something. That's pretty cool too. So there's so many amazing things that, I look at which ultimately kind of, I guess, align to take things in the direction we're going.
Yes. That's good because we've got to learn from people around us, not just someone in the industry. So if you could look back at the younger Dom, when you entered real estate, not knowing what to experience, is there one thing that you would have done differently at the time?
I think from my perspective, I think I'm relatively, and without sounding maybe ego-driven, I'm relatively happy with the way my career's played out in the sense that I've worked really hard. Like I worked when I started 7 days a week. I was out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd go to work after that. I'd go out again at 6, 7 o'clock at night and do more 7 days a week. So I think from that perspective, I really drove output and really pushed as hard as I could in that environment with the hope that, it would establish something into the future. I think I probably would have started a team sooner. I think I would have probably surrounded myself with people earlier. I had people in our business around us, but I think this is a business and an industry where as a solo operator, and you have to absorb everything and manage everything on your own, it's very hard.
Yes.
Having people around you, again, with different skill sets, different personality types, all those sort of things who you can bounce ideas around with and take some comfort from in the sense that, you've done everything you can and you're doing what's possible to get an outcome. I think having people around you is powerful, and I probably would have done it sooner.
Yeah, that's good advice. So you're a perfect example of what you put in, you get out.
I hope so. I hope so. And
absolutely. The results speak for themselves.
If people ask me what do I need to do, it's literally output. Yeah. And it's make sure, similar to what I was saying before, make sure when you go home, you get into bed at night and you think, could I have done more today? The answer is no. I squeezed everything out of the day that I could.
Yeah, that's great. On a personal note, what is something only those close to you know about you?
So I'm part Chinese. My great-grandfather is Chinese.
Wow.
I know. I don't speak the language and I don't cook the food well, but there's a bit of history there.
So looking at the market at the moment, so for the listeners out there, we are heading into August.
Yes.
We're at the end of July.
Yes.
where do you see, or what's your take on where the market's at now, and what do you think's going to be what is the next 3 months going to look like?
I think we're in a great transactional market at the moment. I think it's a great time to sell and it's a great time to buy. I think if you're looking at moving through property, whether it's upsizing, downsizing, changing location, I think it's a great time to be in the market. There's opportunities out there. Prices are pretty strong, and there's at most price points, there's a chance for a deal and a good deal if you're looking at selling, but also as buyers, there's some great quality stock out there as well. I think, that everyone's talking about interest rates. I think a third rate cut will probably cause a bit more bounce in the market, and probably give buyers the confidence that, hey, this is actually happening. We've seen 2 rate cuts, then a hold, then hopefully, touch wood, another rate cut. And I think if we see that happen, it probably will drive a bit more energy into the market again. So I think as buyers, like I said before, you need to be ready to buy and ready to make decisions.
Yeah. And what about stock levels?
Stock levels across the North Shore are relatively consistent. I mean, sometimes in spring you see a little bit more come onto the market. Sometimes in winter a little bit less. That can be seasonality driven. It can be school holiday driven with people going away. There's all sorts of different factors at play. I think the seasonality of markets, certainly in our space of the market where I do a lot of my business, is less impactful today than it was 10 years ago because of technology and social media. There's a constant flow of activity through the year.
So if you're a buyer sitting on the fence, this is the time to buy.
I wouldn't be holding out waiting because the reality of it is there's opportunities that I've missed out on because I didn't execute or I didn't execute hard enough in the past and I regret not going for it. So I think at the end of the day, if there's something that suits what you're looking for, it ticks the boxes, it's in the realms of what your budget is, what are you waiting for?
And you're ready to go, you should go.
Absolutely.
So describe to the audience, the listeners, what your dream property is like, budget aside.
Okay. Budget, no impact. I think for me, I love a Federation-style home. I love a nice flat block of land, swimming pool out the back. That'd be it for me. And I'd love to sink my teeth into a renovation.
On the North Shore, on the Upper North Shore.
Upper North Shore. Yeah. Maybe one day downsize to somewhere with a bit of a view. Yeah. Maybe an apartment, something like that. But I love the area that we're in. I love the property I live in now. It's an apartment in the Upper North Shore. But as family builds and grows and all those exciting things, I'd love to have a bit more space and go down the path of something with a bit of character as well.
That's good, and it's great to have a vision.
Absolutely, and I think having those things in the back of your mind, whether it's property, holidays, something that inspires you, it's different for every person, keeps you centered and driven.
Exactly. So I want to finish now with a few quick fire questions.
Yes, okay.
So tell us what is the first thing that comes to mind of the 2 options that I give you.
Okay.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Wine or coffee?
Wine.
Maldives or Swiss Alps?
Swiss Alps.
Heavy metal or pop?
Pop.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Phone or text?
Phone.
Sweet or savoury?
Oh, savoury.
Netflix or books?
Netflix.
Early bird or night owl?
Early.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So for the listeners out there, if they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
However works. I love a phone call and love a chat. So you can call me any day, anytime, shoot me a text, Instagram, DM, whatever works. I'll always pick it up.
Great. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for the opportunity. It's been fun.
Pleasure.
Thank you.